So thanks everyone for joining us today. Sorry, just give me one moment here. For joining us for the MeasureUp Awards and to hear more about cutting edge research in digital media. I want to kick off by saying thanks to the IAB for running an awards like this. It's great to have an event that highlights research, insights and analytics, and which sometimes don't really get the headlines that they sometimes deserve. So the hour model, hourly outdoor unified reach. What's it all about? So first going to kick off with a little bit of background. So who are VMO? VMO is Australia's industry leader in digital out of home. We provide brands with quality digital advertising outdoor across a range of key consumer destinations. These include office towers, petro and convenience locations, health clubs and gyms, and of course, shopping centre retail. VMO's network is built for attention and features some powerful and unique placements with full support for full motion video creatives and an inventory suite including 2 full AV networks in on-the-go TV and active TV, which provide an immersive outdoor TV experience, adding the attention-grabbing power of audio to petro, convenience and health club environments. All up, VMO's network consists of 10,000 screens across over 2,000 locations and reaches a unique fortnightly audience of 14.7 million. Now let's talk specifically about programmatic outdoor and how the hour model comes into play. So what is programmatic outdoor? So simply put, programmatic outdoor or programmatic digital out of home, or if you like PDO, refers to the activation of digital out of home inventory using automated trading technologies, including real-time bidding and programmatic guaranteed. So programmatic capability has revolutionized the trading of many channels, including TV, digital and audio, and is now unlocking a new world of flexibility, control and targeting for out-of-home advertisers and leveling the playing field with those one-to-one environments. This allows brands to target premium outdoor inventory in real time and with no pre-commitment, and gives buyers autonomy over their targeting, creatives, scheduling and more, all in real time. Notably, however, programmatic outdoor is traded in a currency that is different to both traditional outdoor bookings on one hand and to device-based programmatic as you would see in a web or app-based environment. So there are some quirks and nuances to be aware of for buyers. So similar to device-based programmatic, trading is based on impressions and it does use a CPM pricing model. But how the impression is defined differs in the one-to-many environment of out of home versus a one-to-one environment that you'd see on a website, for example. In out of home, we can no longer use a single ad load as a proxy for delivering an ad to one person, because we know that a single ad play will reach a variable amount of people based on a range of different criteria. So in programmatic outdoor, there's an audience index, which is applied that indicates the reach of a single spot play. So whenever a single spot play occurs, how many contacts was that single play able to reach? And that audience index is called the impression multiplier. So let's take a look at how this plays out in practice. So spot plays times impression multiplier equals the impressions delivered in a programmatic outdoor environment. So the amount of impressions delivered is determined not just by the number of ad loads, but by the audience that is exposed to those ads. It's a bit of a similar concept to a cost per viewable impression type of a campaign in the one-to-one sphere. To provide a real-world example of how this actually works in practice, a shopping centre food court screen will have a higher impression multiplier during its lunchtime peak, where a single spot play could be reaching, say, for example, an average of 10 people and generating 10 impressions with that single spot play. If you look at that same food court screen at 9 a.m. when the centre just opens and maybe most of the food court venues aren't open yet, the impression multiplier will be much lower. It may be closer to 1 or even below 1, depending on the characteristics of that centre. So you can see that impression count is variable based on both the spot plays and the audience index. And the impression multiplier should vary from hour to hour and from day to day to reflect the real world audience flows of each screens. So in programmatic outdoor, the CPM rate that a buyer plays is thought of not as the cost for 1,000 displays, but the cost to make 1,000 contacts, which will take a variable number of plays. So it means that programmatic outdoor is a truly reach-based transaction. The cost is indexed based on the reach of each spot play. And so VMO identified an immediate need for a robust and granular audience data set that could actually give us accurate per screen, per hour audience modeling based on reach. With work on an industry standard currency that can offer this type of granularity still underway, we needed an immediate solution that could provide accurate reach metrics for our programmatic campaigns, which led to the creation of the hour model. So going under the hood to look at exactly how we put that together, we worked with an independent marketing effective consultancy, Data to Decisions, who had a powerful data science and analytics team who were really able to do the heavy lifting that was required for this type of research. Let's dig a little further. There was a 5-stage process that we used to build this model. Initially, first-party audience data was harnessed from VMO's proprietary lens-based facial analytics and audience measurement platform, which is called DART. Additional data was then gathered from trusted and credible third parties, aggregated and mined. And the third step is where the project really started to take shape as external data scientists analyzed and modeled all of this third and first party data to check its predictive strength and accuracy in terms of driving traffic volumes. So this produced a data set called Dart RNF, which gave us the screen level traffic for every hour for each of our screens. Step 4 involved further extrapolation of the Dart output to break the reach down to a per spot level, so we could figure out the reach of an individual spot play at any given hour on any given screen. And this data is then made available for programmatic activation so that buyers can buy against those reach metrics in real time. Give a bit further detail on how that all rolls in. So I mentioned Dart, which is our camera vision based facial analytics measurement platform. Dart's a really unique asset for VMO and provides the data that forms the spine of our model. And it's essentially a hardware and software layer that captures anonymous human to screen interaction using a lens device in a fully privacy compliant manner. So it tracks metrics including footfall, traffic, and engagement, and provides us with really crucial insights into activity and footfall across our network. Dart was independently reviewed by PwC in 2017, confirming the platform's counting methodology and measurement accuracy. So our data science team from Data to Decisions analysed over 20 million data points from Dart in the initial development and training of the model. And it's really this valuable pool of first-party measured real-world human interaction data that was so vital to the development of our model. The next step was to bring in further data from third parties. So you can see 5 of the contributing data partners on your screen there. Ampol, formerly Caltex, who contributed data for our on-the-go petro convenience vertical. Bureau of Statistics data, which was used across the board. Fitness and Lifestyle Group, which provided us with really valuable visitation and membership data for our gyms networks. And then also Roy Morgan and the Shopping Centre Council providing some contributing data points there. Really with the idea that we could validate the audience behaviours and the screen level traffic with those additional inputs. So then the real heavy lifting happened with the machine learning. So this is where we used an external data science team to make sure it was hands-off modelling and to really access some quite incredible data science smarts that we're able to tap into. So the team used advanced data science techniques to fuse Dart's insights with the wealth of third-party data and used a machine learning algorithm to consider a range of inputs and develop accurate modelling on a per screen per hour basis. So the resulting output was an advanced data set that unveils the average reach for each VMO placement, indexed by day, by hour, and by screen. Further extrapolation then happened on top of that model to break the data down even further to a per spot level. So not just how many audience, well, what's the audience in front of this screen over an hour, but for any spot play that occurs during a given hour. So while Dart RNF provided us the hourly traffic volumes from each screen, we did need to further break this down and extrapolate it based on the dwell times and spot lengths that we see in each location. So this is what created the hour model, which is our impression multiplier data set. And let me give you a look at what the output actually looks like to kind of contextualize it for you. So this screen shows an example of 4 of our retail screens. And each line in the chart here represents one of these individual screens and the multiplier pattern that we see across a Monday to Sunday week split out at an hourly granularity. So as you can see from this chart, while the screens have some similarities, they're all portrait screens in a retail environment. They all have drastically different traffic patterns. Not only does the scale of the audience vary, but the pattern of the audience varies from site to site, with screens experiencing different audience peaks and different audience troughs. So it really gives you an idea of how variant this data can be and how vital it was for us to have accurate reporting and modeling to be able to calculate the reach on different screens, so that when a buyer is getting a spot play on a certain screen, they're getting the adequate value through that impression multiplier. So if we look at Monday as a quick example here, we see that the top traffic screen here has almost double the traffic of the lower traffic screen, or lowest traffic screen, and also experiences those different peaks and troughs. We also see that some screens have a longer peak period, whereas other screens have a kind of peak for 1 hour and then drop off more rapidly. So really granular data that we're able to provide here for the programmatic trading. We're just showing 4 examples here. Each of those examples would have 168 data points just to power 1 week. So across the whole of our inventory, there's over 1.5 million cells of data that go into powering the impression statistics just for a single week's worth of trading. So we realized we had to get this granularity of data to be able to provide the right level of accuracy and value to buyers in programmatic outdoor. The data is then activated in real time programmatically. So these impression multipliers per hour per screen are passed out to buyers in real time prior to their bid. So DSPs are able to use this for planning, activation, and reporting down to an individual ad spot level. So that's the hour model in a nutshell. And just to cover some of the key impacts and results that we saw. I mean, this was a project that took over 18 months of rigorous development, testing and validation, and retesting and revalidation. But we launched it to market in October last year to positive feedback from marketers and agencies, and also plugged it into our programmatic setup to power programmatic trading around that same time. So for the first time, our buyers can accurately plan, trade, and post report on an hourly basis and in real time based on our model's data. Importantly, across all of our Australian environments, retail, gyms and health clubs, and petrol and convenience, and also across both metro and regional areas, leveraging a unique hourly traffic footprint for each of our screens. And so, yeah, we're broadly regarded as one of the leading impression multiplier methodologies locally, with that per screen, per hour reach modeling down to a spot level, and really providing clients with that transparency and confidence about the reach metrics they're getting from a programmatic trade. So this has really helped make VMO a preferred supplier of programmatic outdoor and helped drive us forward into accelerating programmatic further for 2022. Thank you, folks. That's the hour model.